I've always loved Sundays. I have such fond memories of being in church from my earliest days. Weekly worship services has always been a part of my life, a priority really. When Lori and I were first married, there were no questions about where we were going to be on Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, and even Wednesday nights. We would be in church together. There was nothing to think about or discuss. Corporate worship was a priority. The first time and the possibility of not being in church on a consistent basis came up was when I was in the second year of college. I was working as a security guard at an area outlet store. When I hired on at that store, I made it clear that I would not be available to work on Sundays under any circumstances. That didn't seem to be a problem at first, but a couple of months into my tenure there, the issue was raised by my supervisor. Apparently, one of the colleagues there, somebody had complained that I was getting special treatment. I was told that I would be included on the Sunday rotation from that day forward. Well, I worked my first Sunday because of the distance I traveled to work and the schedule that I was being asked to work. It was impossible to make it to either the morning or evening services at the church I attended on those Sundays that I was going to be called to work. Well, after working just one Sunday, I remember feeling so empty and sad as I drove back to my apartment. I missed being in church really bad, and so weekly worship involvement, it was one of my core values. It meant a lot to me, and so when I went back to work that week, I informed my supervisor that I was unwilling to work the Sunday schedule anymore. One Sunday was it for me. In fact, I felt so strongly about the matter that I said if I was scheduled to work on a Sunday, I'd be forced to resign. It wasn't a threat, it was just that's how important it was. I explained that working on Sundays was not a part of the original agreement that I had with this employer, and since it was inconsistent with my core values, I was unwilling to do it. I had hoped that my value as an employee would outweigh the policy or the complaints. That's why I was so surprised when my supervisor said, "Well, Steve, I have no choice. I can't show you any special consideration. You're going to have to work on Sunday." I was shocked and disappointed, but I understood. Right then and there, I turned in my 2-week notice, worked a couple more weeks. I remained friends with my supervisor, and God blessed that decision in more ways than I have time to explain right now. My purpose in telling you that story is to let you know that weekly worship involvement has been and always will be a priority for me. Like so many of you, my standard practice on Sunday morning is to gather with other Christians for worship. That has changed significantly because of COVID. Sundays are especially difficult for me right now. I am genuinely sad and disappointed when we cannot gather together physically. While I know great things are happening online, and I'm thrilled that that we're able to experience like this positive things, Sundays just aren't the same for me. I'm sure you feel the same. Even after prayerfully working through decisions with our leaders, I sometimes still struggle with doubts and questions. Is our decision to temporarily suspend on-site services, is that the right decision? What if people don't come back? What if some drift from their commitment to God and to the church? I have to tell you, I've done some serious soul searching during this time. This past Sunday, I was asking myself why I was feeling the way I do on Sunday mornings right now. And I think part of it's change. As I said, I like things the way they were, not as they are. Selfishly, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to have to change. Most of us, if we're honest, we react negatively whenever things are not going our way. I want to be in church on Sunday morning. I want to be together with my church family. However, I have to say I truly believe we're on the right path, even though it's a difficult one. I know God's still in control, and He's still God. He is God even in the middle of all this global pandemic. None of that caught Him off guard. I still believe Romans 8:28 is true. God is working together for good in all things. He's at work in ways that I can't see. He's doing a new thing. And that's why I keep working hard to stay focused on the big picture. I want to remember that things today, it's so much bigger than my personal desires or feelings. I can choose to want what I want, or I could choose to want what is best. So it comes down to a question. Do I trust him? Can I set aside my personal wishes and desires to do what's the best for the whole for a few weeks? Some of these issues were brought most clearly to the surface, not only by our decision to suspend on-site services for a time, but also because of our decision to do our first fully online Christmas Eve service this year. Our Christmas Eve services are rapidly becoming a very meaningful tradition for many in our church as well as in our community. Last year, about 1,500 people packed our worship center on 3 separate occasions, 3 separate services. We've added services each of the last 2 years to accommodate those who wanted to attend these very important Christmas Eve services. By all measures, this year's participation was expected to be higher than ever before. The simple logistics of placing more people safely into a facility that only seat a third of our normal capacity made the on-site option unrealistic. But hear me when I say this. Our service this year will be no less significant or no less meaningful. Be sure that you're online to experience it on Christmas Eve. I get questions almost every day about when on-site services will resume. While it would be possible for us to continue to meet on-site according to governmental guidelines, out of concern for the health and well-being of our congregation, we've made the difficult decision to suspend our on-site services at this critical time. Several factors were considered in making this decision. The size of our growing congregation and our limited seating capacity due to social distancing are 2 of the major factors. See, we're doing our best to keep people safe in our building. There are unique challenges for planning and preparing for services when it's difficult to know if we'll be in person or online from week to week. The Point has a very effective and strong ministry to kids and students. These ministries, as you might imagine, they require a significant volunteer base. And many of those volunteers, they're reluctant to serve in these areas right now, and I'm sure you can understand that. Do you know how difficult it is to social distance 5-year-olds? Furthermore, many parents are reluctant to place an infant in a nursery or bring their preschooler or elementary child to an on-site program, no matter how many safeguards are in place. I've heard some argue that, we must be living in fear. I think there's a fine line there that we need to be careful not to cross. Are you living in fear when you wear a seatbelt? Or am I living in fear because I wear a motorcycle helmet? See, our concern for everyone's safety, along with our desire to do all that we can to help stop the spread of this virus, has led us to ask people to wear face masks and follow these social distancing guidelines. None of us like wearing a face mask. But we want to support our friends on the front lines who are forced to wear that face mask 8 to 12 hours a day or longer to protect themselves and to protect their families from this horrible disease. This 8-month battle has taken a toll on all of us, but on no one more than our healthcare professionals. See, as Christ followers, we're to show consideration for others. And I must admit, I have seen more bad attitudes and selfishness about the topic of face masks than any other issue I can recall in all my years of ministry. So what do we do? Let me suggest this. Love each other. Show consideration. Watch out for attitudes that are unbecoming. Pray. Participate online. Be a spiritual leader in your own family. Preserve spiritual disciplines. Make sure you keep your kids connected. As I've said before, don't allow church or group involvement or other engagements to be optional for your kids. It's okay to acknowledge your disappointment. There's nothing wrong with that, but be sure to do it in a way that's God-honoring and respectful of the positions of others. This is not what any of us would choose right now. Not for Sunday morning, not for our small groups, and certainly not for Christmas Eve. We won't be able to be physically together during this special season. But the good news is we can be together online with hundreds and maybe even thousands more than could fit in our building, even at full capacity. You can help make that happen when you interact with our posts about the 4 online services this year on Christmas Eve. Like, comment, share, host a watch party, share the video the following day. So many have invested so much time and effort to make this service all that it can be. You'll be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home or wherever you are at 2, 4, 6, and 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Those times are Eastern Time. I believe the Lord's going to use these services to draw men and women and boys and girls and teenagers to Himself. So let's trust in the process and let's be a part of what He's doing. Coming out of the holidays on January 3rd, we're going to begin a new 4-week series called The Elephant in the Room. The elephant in the room is an expression that's often used to describe a topic, a question, or an issue. It's so obvious, it's on everybody's mind, but we're reluctant to mention it because it's awkward or uncomfortable or embarrassing to talk about. In this new series, we're going to focus on 4 questions that we have all thought about, but maybe we're reluctant to bring up. In addition, I'm going to host a Facebook Live event each week during the series to explore the topic just a little further and offer some additional application and insights. We'll keep you posted on the day and time of the event in the weeks to come. It's also important to know that for this series, we've decided to remain online only, which means all Sunday morning gathering for adults and kids at the building will be suspended at least through the month of January. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this message, and I want to thank you for being a part of the wonderful church called The Point. We have so much, and I mean so much, to be thankful for. And we look forward to being together again as soon as we can do it in a way that is safe and healthy for all. Know that we love each and every one of you, that we're praying for you. And while we'll all miss being together in person this Christmas, let's trust God in this season. Please don't hesitate to reach out to the church office and let us know if there's anything you need or if there's anything we can do for you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a blessed Christmas. Please plan to join us online for church each Sunday morning at 9:30 and 11 on our website at gotothepoint.com, on Facebook, on YouTube. And don't miss the Point's Christmas Eve services at 2, 4, 6, and 8 p.m. this coming Thursday, December 24th. Thanks again for watching. God bless.